Hello, hello. Hi, Susie. Hello, everybody.
Hey,
Well, today's topic is awakening compassion. And empathy and compassion are fundamental to human connection. They allow us to understand and share the feelings of others, fostering kindness and support in our relationships and communities. While empathy helps us step into someone else's shoes, compassion moves us to take action to alleviate their suffering. In this discussion tonight, we'll explore the role of empathy and compassion in our daily lives, how they shape our interactions, and why they're essential for a more understanding and supportive world. Let's reflect and learn how we can cultivate these qualities and apply them in meaningful ways. And just a few reminders here at Open Diner, we're trying to create a supportive environment where we connect above any differences. During the discussion, stay on topic, no criticism, avoid politics. Remember to mute your microphone when not speaking to minimize background noise. And if you can turn on your cameras, that would be great. And please remember to keep your answers brief so that everyone gets a chance to speak. I'll be one of the hosts tonight. I'm Linda. I live in upstate New York. And Rono is our other host tonight in Holland, Amsterdam.
hey, hi everyone. I'm Rono from actually Rotterdam, but it's close. And we're going to do a nice, very simple icebreaker. We're not gonna call it an icebreaker because we know each other, but let's say a little warm up. Today is gonna be one of those slow days. People are gonna trickle in one after another. So let's start in a very simple, cool way. The question is, what is a talent people don't know you have? Right? Start with your name, where you're from, and what is a talent people don't know you have.
I have one. I can pick up things with my toes, and I don't think too many people know that. I can pick things up with my toes, and the reason is because I was crippled for 28 years. I didn't have my arms, so I needed to learn how to work with my feet. Uh,
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a very rare talent.
It's amazing, Susie, really amazing.
the piano didn't do too well with my feet.
I can imagine that.
Roberta has problems. It's unfortunate. I'm Alisa from Brooklyn, New York. And I don't know if it's an unusual talent, but I think I have a talent to see a beauty of nature, which is unexpected, not like obvious things. We all like nature, we all like in awe of a lot of things, but for I notice things that are really unbelievable. What's nature is what is doing, like with trees, roots when they can't. There is no water underground. They have to go up, and they weave this pattern, this amazing tapestry. Hello. This is incredibly beautiful, or trees in the winter after the rain, when the light hits the tree, it plays with every drop of light, and it's so gorgeous. People cannot mimic with their lights when they wrap the trees with the lighting. So and so on. There's nature is so creative, unbelievable.
Hi, Sarah. We're doing an icebreaker. The question is, what is a talent people don't know you have? You start with your name, where you come joining us from, and answer briefly this question.
Oh,
So,
you want me to go or
if
wait?
you're ready, you can, yeah.
Sure. So I just answer that question.
It
Where
has
I'm
to be
from.
clean, by the way. Forgot to say
What?
that. It has to be
I don't know what
clean.
that. I don't know what you mean. What does that mean?
Now, people would think of, some dirty things, so we want to avoid that.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I'm Sarah from the Woodlands, Texas. Very beautiful here. I don't know. It's a hard one to say. Depends on what you mean by a talent, but I'm very creative in every aspect. I could probably, it's not just that I'm a writer, it's like I can make my own book covers. I could probably do photography very well and just make my own book covers. I could draw really well. I'm very, very talented in these things, like extremely. Like I had to be because I'm disabled and I don't have the money to make other people do it. So I I'm a writer. I'm just very I'm a 9 FP, so very creative, very, very, very creative. And I would say that's the main thing that I'm talented in, but everybody knows it in my life, so I don't know. But y'all don't know it. There you go.
Now we
Very
know.
cool. Very cool. Well, I'm Roberta from Long Island, New York, and I was thinking about it while you guys were going. I mean, I can wiggle in my ears, but I can't do it when I'm smiling. I just tried; it's not working. But uh, kind of in the line what Elise is saying, I have this talent. If someone says, "Geez, I don't feel well," I for some reason I know what they should take, what they should do, and how to correct the issue, or I have an idea what the problems. I really believe that I was a doctor in a past life, and it's funny because my family calls me, "What's the problem, doctor?" And I'll say, well, it's this. But I do a lot of reading and I do a lot of watching videos online, so that's where I do get ideas. But I'm very talented; like I can pick it up and say, "This might be it," and a lot of times I'm right. So anyway.
I have a way with animals. Um, they seem to just come to me. I guess they know that, I'm friend, not foe. And I go into people's houses for my job, and animals will come to me and people will say, wow, he's never gone to anybody that way, but they come to me, and I have a way with animals, and I love it. I love animals.
Does that work with a bear?
I don't know. I haven't been near enough to a bear, except
Okay.
in the zoo.
Please don't try.
Don't worry, I won't.
I'm from Rotterdam, and I think a talent I can't say, but I mean, people from where I'm from know that, but here they don't. I can make kites from coconut sticks and thin paper. But it's a very common skill in Haiti, but outside of there, no one knows it. Oh, I think everyone went, right? Yeah. All right, we're going to rush the rules of the roundtable, which is the guidelines that we use for our discussions. And it's a very short clip. And after that, then we're going to start with one of the clips that we're going to be having for the discussion. Sharing.
The rules of the round table. Around the table, no one is more important or less important. Everyone is equal and very important. We don't reject opinions or negate, but only collaborate. The real solution won't come from knowledge or verbal perfection, but only from our connection.
Okay. We're going to be watching two videos, and the first video is a cute little cartoon explaining about compassion. And after each video, we'd love to hear everyone's thoughts. Keep your responses brief so everyone can get a chance to speak. And when you're done, mute your mic, and it'll be popcorn style, just like popcorn pops when it's ready. If you're ready to share, open your mic and jump in. So let's watch the first video. It's really quick.
My friend told me he often went to the same little corner grocery store in his neighborhood. One day, he realized that though it was usually the same woman working there each time, he hardly ever noticed much about her. He felt shocked at himself and thought, for all I really pay attention to her, she might as well be a cash register with arms. So he went into the store, determined to actually pay full attention to her. The first thing he noticed was that she was singing along to something playing on the radio, and that she had a really beautiful voice. When he said that to her, she responded with a wide, radiant smile. As soon as he told me that story, I realized that I too often went into the same store and also had hardly noticed that woman, except for maybe a vague sense that perhaps she was a little grim. I made a plan. I'm going to go into the store, say to her, I heard you have a really beautiful voice, and watch her get really happy and give me a beautiful smile. But when I went into the store, actually paying full attention to her, the first thing I noticed was that she was already smiling broadly. Wait, what happened to a little bit grim? I realized again how much of a person we miss when we don't pay attention. People are people, not pieces of furniture. We each have a life, a story, changing moods, joys, sorrows. And if we pay attention to one another, we recognize that, and our lives are enriched by a continuing sense of discovery. That's the opening to true compassion. Sometimes we think of compassion as a gift, which we've either gotten or we haven't. If we haven't, we're out of luck. Or we think of compassion as some kind of emotional reaction that spontaneously erupts out of us. I think of compassion as a natural result that comes from actually paying attention. That means we can continue to cultivate it.
All right. So the first question is, how do you feel when someone shows you compassion? You know, it makes me feel good. Makes me feel seen.
Yep, I'll add to that. It makes you feel good. And it makes me want to actually do something nice. It changes my whole mood and attitude towards others. That maybe I am pretty okay.
It actually makes me surprised because it's not that common. And what we just saw, and one of the things that just really struck me, that is how we miss so much in life because we don't notice each other. So it's beautiful compassion.
There was something else that I was thinking. Oops, go ahead, Susie.
Oh, you go, Rono. Me go? I'll go. I
Yes,
kind of,
please do.
I agree with Elisa in that, I'll go to Walmart, or that's about the only place I go here, the Jungle and Walmart. And then you go, and if you see somebody doing something kind, it's like, oh my God, maybe the earth is being better. It's like, it's a shock, but it is contagious. It makes you want to go do something too. So good. Love you, Lisa.
Yeah, what I was thinking about is that it compels you to pay attention suddenly, like to be alert, because someone saw you and did something that you know brings in you this need to give back. Then now you start paying attention to everything around you, because now you can't be like a slump in a chair and just still just receiving. You want to be able to, just reciprocate something, not necessarily to the same person, but any other opportunities. Like it's like a jolt of electricity that brings you back to life, literally.
I guess for me, when somebody shows me compassion, since I've been through a lot of childhood abuse and just abuse in general, it makes me feel good. I mean, it does make me feel amazing. The thing that I'm missing though really is I'm missing community. I'm missing people actually caring more than that though. I'm missing actually having friends. I'm a deep thinker and people don't relate to me and I'm a very rare person. So sometimes it does feel empty for me personally, just because being nice isn't the same as actually caring deeply about that person. It's not the same thing. So for me, I guess like for me, I do value compassion. It's just like so many people have taken advantage of that for me, and I just don't have a lot of capacity to really be that understanding person anymore, like to be overly giving and everything. I don't have that capacity anymore to be like that anymore. But I still think this is a good discussion. It's just I feel mixed emotions about it.
Actually, not bad to be able to share that, because it's the world is it's like a classroom, giant classroom where everything is learning process, but the learning curve is really steep. It seems like it never ends, but it's just every little thing that you overcome and you go through makes you you, and the you today is better than you yesterday. So those acts of compassion, are things that will make us realize that there are other people around, and sometimes they pay attention to you. Sometimes you have the ability to pay attention to them also.
And also, it's interesting, but you just opened your heart, and was so honest, and I felt that this is such a compassionate thing toward us, that you were, you, you trusted us that we will feel it and we will want to to understand and in some way help, like Rona started. And this is exactly, it touched me very much what you did, the honest open heart. Unfortunately, it's not such a common thing, in our lives, unfortunately.
You just add that just being able to express that, like everybody's saying, you need compassion to actually speak like that. So it's in you, and it depends on the environment you're with. You feel comfortable with us. I feel comfortable with everybody here. So I'm able to express it. So it's the environment's important, but just being able to express that you have compassion in you, and you really touched us with that, sharing that. Thanks, Sarah.
All right, I can go to the next question. Think of it from both sides. Like the question is, does compassion make us stronger or weaker? Think of it on both sides, like, you know, being able to show compassion to someone or being able to receive the compassion of someone else. Does compassion make us stronger or weaker?
It makes us stronger, but it makes our ego not quite so strong. And so it's like the more we apply it to our true self.
For me, I would say when you said something about receiving compassion rather than see, the thing is, I grew up with narcissistic parents, so for me, giving was always my natural thing, being a compassionate person. But I think for me, the most powerful thing that I can learn is to actually receive it and not feel like, oh, this person's gonna say I'm selfish later. And that's always a fear of mine because that's how people have treated it. They have kind of twisted it to where I'm the bad person all the time. So yeah, I think compassion for me, I mean, it's a mixed bag for me. It makes us stronger in the sense that, we're fighting for something, we're making a difference, we're doing these things. But it makes us weaker in the sense that we're being vulnerable. We're putting ourselves out there in a way that is vulnerable, and actually having honest conversations with the people that we love is honestly the rawest, most rare thing we can do. And when we have those honest conversations, like like something bothering us with our spouse, or something bother us with a friend, or just like being open about how they actually feels, like that is strength, but it does make us feel like, oh my gosh, that was a lot to get out. So that's what I think of it.
Yeah, I hear you, Sarah. I mean, I think in general, showing compassion makes you stronger. But there's been a few times where I've shown compassion to people that I loved and gotten a kick in the ass for it. So, um, but it doesn't stop me. I'll still show compassion.
Yeah, Linda, the difference is when you're a giver, are people receiving or are they taking? And when you're a giver and they take, it doesn't feel good. So you have to learn to give to receivers. Hi, Kitty.
I think I'm learning that if I give and I expect something in return, I'm almost almost 100% will be heard, because it will be either I will not get anything or I will not get enough. So this is something that I'm still learning, because I don't want to be discouraged. I want this to be my strength, and to learn to give without any expectations. It's very hard. Rarely, some people can do it, but I think this is a skill as well. It's something we can learn. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, the question, compassion make us stronger or weaker? And you would think compassion is somebody that's weak. You're giving they're vulnerable, like everybody's saying. But when I see somebody being compassionate, I know that's something that I want to work on and be more compassionate. I think of that person very strong, much stronger than I am, even though they're not carrying a bat or have muscles. It's something that's in all of us, I think, that needs to be polished and shined up and be an example of. So when I see somebody that's compassionate, it makes me feel weaker, that I want to become stronger like the person that's giving. It's not all the time, but it's something that makes you scrutinize, saying, why are they doing that? And they're getting nothing in return. Like, it makes me start thinking of, where am I in this thing? And I want to be like that, So a lot of makes you feel a lot of different ways, but it's nice to see for sure.
Yeah, I think it's that, like Berta was saying, is the positive outcome of the good example. If you see this happening, then that means that it was going to trigger that positive envy in you. And I remember someone was telling me or teaching me about it. It says envy is one of the most powerful force in relation with people. Good envy will force you to learn faster. And if you have someone that excels around you and it's like he's pulling you forward with him, and you are, being encouraged to make greater effort and learn also. So the bad thing about this, when you give and you see someone that is, always trying to take advantage of this, then it doesn't generate a good feeling at the moment. But still, you have to think of it in the other way. In society today, we're teaching people to be individuals and to be individualistic, like, They have to chase success. They have to chase to be the greatest, to be the strongest, the richest, whatever is there is. But you don't realize that society doesn't teach us to be more compassionate than the other. And, it's just like, and that is something that is extremely hard to do and to keep it up in this current very hostile world. So you have to remember that even if you're being taken advantage of, if you have this strength to be compassionate, it doesn't diminish you, even if someone thinks so. Because in the end, the actual currency, the good currency of the world is love. And that's the hardest thing. Not everyone is able to do it. Not everyone is able to, make the effort to just, not think about themselves and try to do something good for others. And so, be proud of that.
I think we should go on to the next video. What do you think, Rona?
Yeah, let's do that. It's gonna deepen the discussion. This is the point of view of a sage about the difference between empathy and compassion. And the title of the clip is "What is more important, compassion or empathy?" Gone.
We know that empathy is the ability to feel the world of another as our own. We're literally capable of feeling the pain of someone else. Psychologists claim if we experience empathetic pain for a long time, we often become emotionally exhausted. This happens to firefighters, those who work in emergency services, etc. Here's what they say. Through empathy, we come to feel the pain of someone else. However, we also feel the pain of someone else through compassion. But in this case, we can handle it. That's because compassion comes with love. That's the whole difference between the two.
Yes.
Agree, right? I even checked the dictionary. Empathy is the ability to identify with the emotions of another, but compassion, that is sympathy for the suffering of another.
It's like stepping into the world of another and feeling his experience.
How can we facilitate this within ourselves? As I understand, if that feeling was fostered, we would live in a different world.
Yes, we would nurture it, but I think that's possible.
Really?
We are just not involved in this process. Generally, people at the age of 13 to 14 can fully resonate with another person's suffering, and they would then need to be further educated on it.
That, of course, would drastically change the world.
Of course, no doubt about it.
So is it possible to nurture compassion in a person?
The understanding of compassion for others can be taught so a person may understand how to handle it, so much so that through this compassion for another, he may share another's suffering by taking it partially upon himself, and in this way neutralize their suffering.
Wouldn't you get burned out?
No. The fact that you neutralize it by engaging it with him, sympathizing, and being compassionate, you gradually break up his suffering into a number of smaller parts, and by doing so, bringing him relief. Similarly, you can bring the whole world into balance to an inner state of being you can call blissfulness.
So shared compassion among all the people on earth will lead to a state of blissfulness in the world.
Yes, that's exactly what we have to achieve in our connection.
I understand now the gist of the issue you mention all the time. Unity, connection, positive thoughts, good connections. Is compassion essentially the basis of it? Is that right?
Yes, in the absence of the intention, not for my own sake. That enables the desire to be filled with light.
So can it only be filled if my intention is for the sake of others?
Yes, this is why we need this balance here. All this can only be realized if we learn to be compassionate, to divide the difference between absolute fulfillment and absolute emptiness to every person. Obviously, nobody will be worse off in this case, but if we want to divide it this way, the difference itself will disappear. That is the whole point of this remarkable quality of unification.
All right, so that's quite a lot to take in. So let's continue our discussion with the simple technical question, just quickly. Did you realize there's a difference between empathy and compassion? Did you realize there's a difference between empathy and compassion?
No, I didn't know there was really a difference. I thought they were the same thing, actually.
Me too.
I knew there was a difference, but I could never put my thumb on it.
No,
Well,
I always, yeah, go ahead,
I heard the difference between sympathy and empathy. And if it's sympathy and you're trying to help somebody, their boat's going down. If it's sympathy, you get in the boat and go down with them. So empathy, you stand aside. But I never got this between compassion. I guess compassion is the action of feeling. I don't know. I'm still learning.
Yeah, I always thought that empathy is the queen, you know, that is it. You have to be compassion, you have to be fully immersed in others' suffering, but apparently it's not the way. Compassion, yeah, it relates to action. When you can help, you can divide, you can split, and actually they go much deeper. It requires to love each other, which is another level. That's what I wanted to say.
I didn't know, actually. I remember the day I learned about empathy. For, I think it was digging through someone else's book, and I found it. But I did think I thought about that empathy and compassion were more or less synonymous. Never consulted the dictionary, of course, but still thought it was the same. But empathy was a nice thing to learn about back then.
Yeah, I didn't know either. I didn't know. How do I can't mute my own thing?
So this is a question. Did we learn that compassion is like the action of empathy? Is that what we learned?
I think empathy is more feeling what the other person is feeling, whereas compassion is uh, feeling, not feeling what they're feeling, but feeling for them. As a nurse, I've learned this. I felt both with my patients. Sometimes I felt empathetic to, and then I had to kind of pull away, but compassion was I felt more important.
You always hear about empaths, right? Somebody's an empath. They take on everybody else's energy, and I've seen this online. But it reminds me that when someone has empathy, it sounds very draining. Like you're always worried about, is everything okay? You're taking on, and you compassion, it even sounds more easier. It sounds lighter. Like Lisa said about love. When you have compassion, well, I guess there's passion in the word. That's love, right? So it's bringing in love. I don't know. It just seems like you're saying, what is it? I'm assuming we're going to learn more here. I assume that let's wait to hear when we hear more. I don't know. You really know myself.
Now, do you think empathy or compassion is more important than the other? Do you think one is more important than the other, and why?
I could
I think
answer that as soon as I understand the difference. I don't know the difference yet, but I'm still working at it.
well, what I got out of it, I think a little bit with this question, what do you think is more important? If anybody could look at someone sick or a car crash and say, "Oh my God, that's awful. Oh my God, I feel so bad for them." but the compassion to now go further and how can I help? What can I do? And to care about that person. You're now becoming part of the situation. You're not from a distance. Now I think you're compassionate. That's where the love comes in. You want to help, not just observe. And that's my take on that. So I would think compassion is more important. I think you need both. I think that empathy gets you there, but compassion brings you all the way over.
I think you're absolutely right, Roberta.
Okay,
Yeah, you
that's the
said
end of our
also.
show. Thank you for coming. And we'll see you next week. Go ahead, Ron. I'm kidding.
I think it's
just a
he
few of
was
us here.
saying
That's
also
why
that compassion comes with love. Compassion is the sympathy for the suffering of another. And so this is more like the action than the empathy. Empathy usually feels what the other feels. It's like you kind of parallels what they're feeling, but the compassion is you identify for their sufferings and you try to, even in your mind, you try to fix it. I think the important one is it's not like it's important in the sense of does it compel you to act, or do something like does it convince you to um, do something or have a thought or a prayer for someone, something even if it's not an actual action, even if you're thinking about it, that makes it more important. I think I'm leaning toward compassion.
Yeah, if you can balance. Oh, Sarah is back. Great, great, terrific. She is joining. I think with empathy, you have to be very careful, I think, because it's true, if you witness a lot of suffering, like what we just heard, firefighters, physicians, emergency care, people, and you take it on yourself, you are ruined, you are crushed like a person you're looking at, you have to be able to handle it with the compassion. It's a different story. It's a very different story. You feel it, but you know that you have to act and you have to help and you have to do something.
Just to add, it would be nice if the world had empathy. I'll even take that. At least it's a start. Compassion would probably be the ideal world, but in this world right now, I think empathy would actually work because at least it's a doorway to somebody saying, I recognize you. I see there's a problem. I want to help, not judgment or whatnot. So they're both important, but I'm just giving an example. We're just discussing it. They're both very important.
I think Sarah has a problem with, oh, here she is. Great. Awesome.
All right, let's go to the next question. The question is, does compassion lead to action more than empathy? Does compassion lead to action more than empathy?
That's what I think I'm getting, that compassion has the action of what, the empathy, we're feeling it, and compassion is getting in there and, helping and doing something, serving. I guess I'm still.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've come up on accidents and I've stopped and helped, and that's compassion. It's wanting to help, whereas empathy is just feeling. It's just feeling.
Yeah, that's the main difference. Sorry, Roberta, 2 words just. I think we touched on that already, in the previous round, that compassion compels you to to act, even in thoughts, even in intention, even in any small things you can do to, alleviate the pain, and find the way to alleviate the pain.
I guess like empathy is I feel you, and then compassion would be I feel you and I want to help. So it's like one, and then it's one step further with compassion.
I think empathy is,
Interesting.
I feel you, but compassion is, I feel what's happening. I don't know if you understand the difference.
And you want to help. That's mean I feel you mean I want to help, right? Yeah. I never knew all this before, guys. This is good.
Yeah. You think we can teach someone to be compassionate?
I think we can show people how we're compassionate, and it's kind of contagious. I think you can talk about what you're going, if you're a teacher and you can talk about what you're feeling with compassion, and then they can maybe get a little bit by osmosis, but you get it really when you, by doing it, by being there and feeling it, I think.
Yeah, I think especially for kids, if you're a model for them, showing them what compassion is, they'll see and they'll do it too.
I think we heard in the video that, for teenagers like 13, 14 years old, it is a natural, ability. And if it will be nurtured further, but who will nurture them if adults don't know what it is and what's the difference? But nonetheless, this is something to work on in the society. And then the generation will be just, for them, it will be just natural. It just will be like, like you grow up and some things that you learned are just natural to you.
Yeah, you also have this positive effect of the building of a good environment. If enough people around you are doing it, then this is going to help you learn. That's how we can teach each other. Because right now, society does not value something like compassion. But if we were to have that, something like parents would try to teach their children, that a teacher would always have this mention in the classroom, whatever, this opportunity presents itself, then it becomes more and more important. And then, we can start understanding that there is value in trying to learn and to practice it. I remember there was one of the book that I was reading. It was saying that the way we can have a different um, set of values as a whole, as a species, is to have more and more people and institutions thinking about those things differently. Like if you have movies that show something all the time, then that's what everyone is going to be thinking about all the time also. But if it's, a different version, something that's more positive, then it doesn't have to be glamorous. It just have to be repeated. If it's in the news, if it's in movies, if it's in books and, just in art, then that becomes the norm. And now you can, instill new values there.
I can hear this generation that's coming up now, they're much different than my generation. I'm born in the 70s. But like I could see kids that are 14, 15, I could see my niece and nephew. Totally different than when I was younger as kids. We never thought about other people. Now you're saying the media, Rano. You can see how the media is everywhere around us. I mean, even in the middle of the night, you can't sleep, you grab a phone, you're looking at something on Instagram or whatnot. So we're being affected by the media. But this generation is a good thing, is I think they are changing, that they do feel compassion. You can see videos on even online, people actually have channels of just helping people or giving people money on the street. What can we help with? They give away clothes to homeless people and blankets and stuff like that. I mean, many, many, many channels. Now they're making money on it, yes, but this is maybe the way society does change, because if you look at somebody very wealthy and they step down on somebody, even today, I think people would say, what are you, crazy? That's bad. Now, years ago, they might have said, well, he doesn't deserve it. I think things are shifting in a way, but I think to nurture children in school would be a good thing. They're getting it from somewhere. I think it's just life is changing. I think people are sick of not helping each other anymore, being stepped on.
Well, I think though in the 60s, where when I was a teenager, um, we didn't have social media and all that. However, we felt compassion for people. We protested against the war because we thought it was wrong. We protested for civil rights because we thought that was wrong. You know, we protested against anti-Semitism because we thought that was wrong. And then suddenly it shifted another way in the 70s and 80s, and now it's going back that way. And we have it even more so because of social media, and we see the news and what's going on.
No, but I think I'm with Roberta. This generation is different. You know, it's not just an outburst like it was in 60s, you know, and then everyone became successful businessmen, you know, and, and continue on with their lives, you know. But this generation is very, very interesting. You know, they're open to things that unexpected to us and to change. That is basically, I think they can take on themselves if you know, we will be able to, you know, not suppress them.
Yeah, also, this generation has all the technology they need to make a very great impact, very great and positive impact on society. Because now anyone anywhere in the world can reach someone on the other side of the planet they will never meet, which is completely unthinkable, when like Linda's when she was a teenager. You would send a letter. I remember we had a pen pal from I don't remember which country. Just send a letter and wait a few weeks, get another letter. Oh my God, who would have that patience now? Now, if you even clicking send on your, social, your group chat thing is too long. Come on, you won't. But with the possibility that we have now, you can make a post that millions of people can read. If you can post something meaningful there that millions of people can find inspiration from, wouldn't that be nicer?
You know, many years ago, the computer came out, and like you're saying, the stock market people made money in the 80s, and everything went big and better. Limos, remember all the music, and now, like you say, kids are different. Now we're in 2025. All that doesn't like light up people's lives anymore. They see the money and the fame and the big houses, the all problems that come with it. Even kids today, when I was young, I wanted to be rich. Kids today are not saying that. They're saying something like, I want to be a surfer or something. I want to help the environment. I mean, this is like unheard of. But that's why I think it, like you said, Rana, one click of online, you could affect someone. So that should make compassion and empathy much easier than for human beings. I mean, you could help somebody instantly, or you could ruin somebody instantly. So, I mean, we're in a unique time in history for sure.
Look how many kids, especially, commit suicide because of what's said to them on social media. I mean, that's how influential social media can be.
Well, there is, you know, that should be something like in 60s that has to be reversed, you know. if that is so influential, and everyone is so attached to their, I am, completely, I am just without a phone. If I get out, I forget a phone, that is a disaster. Oh my God, what's going on? How will I survive? So that is a tool to reverse, to make compassion is the biggest treasure that we can get.
Yeah, I think we can go to our last question. Let's try to dream. How would life change if everyone practiced compassion daily? How would life change if everyone practiced compassion daily? Let's just imagine a better world there.
I think there'd be no war. There'd be no need for war because we all felt for each other.
That is like, the biggest dream of mine is that you feel accepted anywhere you go. It doesn't matter, where you showed up at Metropolitan Opera or you enter the McDonald's. It doesn't matter. You belong, you are welcome, and that goes for everyone.
And no hunger, because whoever's hungry, you'd want to feed them.
Yeah, and no homeless because you don't have need three mansions, and a house, extra somewhere on the island. There's plenty of space for everyone to be, comfortable.
Wouldn't it be nice?
I was going to say the next line to the song. Imagine there was no hunger, the Beatles song. But why wouldn't that be a socialist? I know we don't talk politics, but at that point, would it be, well, let's forget what I just said. Let's just rewind and say, what would it be like? It would be a lovely place to be, actually. It would a place where you wouldn't have to worry about what's going to happen next. Your neighbors looking out for you, friends are watching out for you. It's like picture your family extended by 6 million people if you get along with your family, friends. That's what it'll be like, I guess, right? What do you think, Susie?
Oh, I was just thinking, there's about 20, 25 people in the community now. And if just these 25 people moved in more compassion, we'd all be happier. It's like a microcosm to what's happening in the world. And I just got back from a meeting, and we really need to have more compassion, and especially those of us that are leaders in the spiritual world and stuff, we need to be an example of it everywhere we go. And the only time that we're not is when we really need energy for ourselves, and we, like for me, if I'm a codependent, I have to stop giving for a while, make sure I'm okay, and then I can give some more. But yeah, I think it's the world. And I think daily we need to prove this, that the world is a better place always when we're being compassionate.
Yeah, I think one of the most horrible things that we've created as a society is that we have mm, we have made people forget that nature actually gives us everything we need in abundance. Because right now we have children that are dying of hunger, which makes no sense at all. It's like, just everything is free. It's given with just enough so that no one would ever have any, deficiency that they cannot fulfill. But somehow we manufacture that poverty. And there's a lot of people that are suffering. We can't fix it. And we're still thinking about going to Mars, and what are we going to do there? Seriously. But yeah, it's like if we practice compassion, I think of something that a positive competition of who is more compassionate, who gives more, but not like it's done right now, like philanthropists, just polishing their own image by giving money, but something that is actual, something that brings a bright smile or a sunshine into someone's heart, and that brings some inspiration to everyone else around also.
And that's something any of us can do at any moment. You don't have to be rich billionaire giving all kind of money to all these places. We could do it. It's the people that are quiet, the ones that are, many times when they show on like, yeah, somebody, they go to a guy who has no money in the street, a bum, right? And they say to him, and he's eating some, can I have half of that? The guy goes, it's a video. And he says, sure. He gives him half of his pizza to a guy that is just saying, can I have something? Then you go up to any other person, you can't have this. What are you, crazy? The first ones to give are the people with the least. And I think that's the people that are most kind and empathetic and compassionate are the people that are not seen. And that's the problem. Like Ron was saying, people with money give all kind of stuff for profit to polish themselves and look good. But we could do it ourselves. And like we all said, it's by example. There's kindness in everybody. We just have to show it so they do it also, I guess.
I was muted. Along with that, um, if you have had trauma where, I was like 1 week from being homeless twice when I was injured, and it was just you go, wow, I've always had money, I've always had good jobs, and then all of a sudden, and it's just like then when I was so close to it, then I started working again, and I would have to walk by the homeless to catch my bus, and I would empty the refrigerator because all these attorneys are eating all this. They're all getting fat, eating all this food, and they have all the leftovers. Friday, they were just throwing it away. And so I would take it on these big things and take it down the homeless people. Just being able to give them a meal or give them a blanket, it's just way too close to home. It was so close to home because I almost was homeless. So then it made me really want to serve the homeless. Compassion's a great thing.
All right, then that's it. It was a very intimate open diner. There are days like that. A few last words that with compassion, we can seriously enhance the quality of life for everyone. Like you were saying in the clip, compassion comes with love. We have to make sure that we do not remain alien to the suffering around us. We don't be afraid. Once you have the right intention, that's all that matters. Even if the change only happens in your thoughts, it's enough to make a huge impact. Life takes care of the rest. Spread the love. Let's bring some unity and elevate the state of the world. A few reminders. We have quite a few ways to stay in touch with us. We already know that. We join our meetup. Follow us on Facebook or other social networks. We are everywhere. You can subscribe to our email list for a weekly notification. And your email is not shared with any third party. Some of our old events are on YouTube. Share with friends and bring them. And all the links are in the chat. Now we see you again in 2 weeks. We have a very special Open Diner on April 10, which will be celebrating Open Diner number 200. It's the warmest party of the year. Seriously, be there. I'm saying that for everyone who watches the recording on YouTube. So we'll expect all of you. We'll expand on our connection. And we have some beautiful music on the way out.
When you're weary